Hello, everyone. Welcome to Star Trek Adventures in Lollygagging. We have been making jokes about how this is going to be a Law and Order episode. This was not my choice. This has been thrust upon me by my players. So we will see how this goes. I might just have, there's no rocks in space, so we'll just have asteroids fall and everyone dies. As always, I'm going to just jump right in and ignore my bad jokes. Captain's Log, Supplemental. I'm convinced that there is intelligent life native to Abassa 7. While this was likely unknown when Lishka and Maul built their refinery on the planet, that does not give them the right to harm, exploit, or displace this entity. Unfortunately, it appears that the two sides are headed to conflict. The entity somehow has created a massive storm that threatens to destroy the refinery and all of the workers that refuse to evacuate. Meanwhile, Lishka has ordered her small fleet of ships to attack the entity with an orbital bombardment. Both Lishka and the entity appear to be open to reason with the Federation, if not with each other. The Intrepid and her crew are now in the difficult position of advocating for a life form that we can barely communicate with, let alone comprehend. And if we fail to do so, it is very likely that a profound tragedy will occur. We pick up on the Intrepid. All of you have been hailed by your captain, Captain Shelby, to join her in the briefing room as you are expecting the company of Lishka, the Ferengi that owns this refinery. You have a few minutes before you need to be there. Is there any final action you would like to perform before you head over to the briefing room? Anyone?
So Danko was, one of the things he said at the end is he was going to get the computer and dig in some databases for various survey sites, so geological survey sites, Starfleet Corps of Engineers, like places that have lucrative mining opportunities, but have not yet been claimed or exploited, to use those as potential bargaining chips. It
looks like the Wi-Fi is down and you're not able to find anything.
There's not actually Wi-Fi on the ship. I don't think that's how it works.
What, Star Trek can't have Wi-Fi?
When Star Trek started, so pretty sure that doesn't exist, but all right.
Computer.
And then also he has compiled a list of egregious breaches of various treaties and interstellar law that they've already in violation of. So all right, as well.
Let's make this a check.
Okay.
To see how much you're able to collate before your time is up. You're absolutely able to do this. Of course, it's not like anything difficult, but it is time crunch. So I think this would make sense for insight or reason, and then science.
I think reason is definitely what he would probably be going with, because he's trying to do this in a logical way, because he knows that like Ferengi logic is a very odd, circuitous path. So he's trying to essentially get her in a logic trap. And if you said science, I could do science. Well, hell yeah. And can I use cultural studies?
I think cultural studies would not work. No.
Okay. So
you're
yes
looking for
studies.
mining operations, right?
I think cultural studies works out really well for
mining?
Studying the laws for studying
the laws of mining.
Sure.
When you're talking to Ferengi and you're looking up laws and rules.
Sounds very like Ferengi culture to me.
How about astrophysics? Right? Would astrophysics apply?
I don't think either of those cover like law. Like cultural and law
studies,
are not
I 100% think studies covers law. Cultural studies.
Take cultural studies.
Okay.
And I'm going to spend 2 threat and create a trait that says Wi-Fi is down. So the computer is running slow.
Okay.
And we're going to raise the difficulty by 1, putting it from 2 difficulty to 3.
And we have momentum. 6 momentum. Okay. I will use
2, 3.
I'll use so it's a difficulty of 3. I'm doing science reason.
I wish I could justify it having a higher difficulty, but I really can't.
You certainly could if you want. I feel supremely confident. Someone use 3. Okay.
Get 2 extra dice.
4 dice. And I have a focus, so this is going to be great. Oh, that's a good roll. I see 1 3, so that's a 2. That's 2 successes. I got a 10 and 11. That's 4 successes, and then I got a 14. So 14 is good, I think. Yeah, 14's still good. So that's 5 successes. I'm sorry.
No, 5's all good.
Are you speechless? So it sounds like he said you succeed. I yield.
Yeah, that's. I think I heard something similar.
Rangi surrender, I think is what he said.
Oh yeah.
I'm typing, damn it. Okay.
This is where the complication comes in. Complication comes in. The judge didn't hear the argument well. Wasn't transcribed.
All that like 20 thread is all going to be used in this Law and Order episode, just to try to throw Jeff off.
So you're getting the success, and you're finding lots of data, which I know you have already researched through the Star Trek Wikipedia to find all this stuff ahead of time. But now you have access to it, and you have 2 momentum as well. Would you say that you're spending the momentum to go faster, or are you trying to make a trait with that?
I will burn. Okay, so I'm going to. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a question with my bonus, because I can essentially get to a free trait in a second. So my first question is are there significant mining locations found by like the geological survey teams of the Federation and the Starfleet Corps of Engineers that would be similar in geological composition to this planet? Can I find things that are similar to what they're getting on this planet?
Geological composition, absolutely. It's deuterium refinery. So I'm sure there are other oceanic planets with deuterium that you would be able to find as well. If you're looking for planets that are mining and then later discovered to have life, that would be much more rare. I think that would be
they wouldn't even be allowed, according to legal precedent, to even mine on those planets. So
that's what I'm saying. If they had started mining and then found life later, that's a very niche scenario. Just
looking for planets that match the composition that they wanted this planet for.
It's a big galaxy. I'm sure there's something at least somewhat close. Yes.
Okay. And then the second question is,
I feel like I'm being led into a trap.
So this is.
I told you over my head about to drop.
The prosecution is setting up their.
Oh yeah, you're
this close to law school. This close. Okay, so the second question that I get for free is there significant interstellar legal precedent to charge this mining company with crimes? The answer is actually yes. I looked it up.
Yes.
I'm setting it up mechanically because you were saying before we went live that the role play didn't matter and it was going to be the roles, and so I'm setting it up mechanically.
You did.
That is true.
How hot is it?
That's what happens.
You said you could use bonus. You said you used bonus dice to ask questions, not verbally trap someone.
I am asking a question.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you. I need all the help I can get.
Mm-hmm. Derek just doesn't. Derek doesn't like arguing with me in games because he has to argue all the time.
We have already established in the narrative that this refinery exists in a sort of legal gray area. If I would say
I don't think we've established that.
Hold on. We have established that. We said that.
Because if you say you've established precedent, that means something different. I don't think we've established it. I think she has claimed that is different from being it's been established.
No, Derek with his Starfleet or Federation protocols asked, and we did say that it is a legal gray area. That we can go back in the recording.
That was before we confirmed.
That was before we confirmed.
That was before we confirmed that there was life on the planet.
That is true.
No longer a gray area.
No.
No longer a gray area.
So that's the thing, is that if this planet was officially claimed by the Federation and it continued mining operations after discovering that there is life on the planet, absolutely, that is a crime. 100% could be prosecuted for it. So you would essentially just have to prove that the planet is claimed by the Federation. And then their continuing presence would be a crime.
Okay. But we've already, and this is actually established, that this is within Federation space. And there is no precedent for not having a planet within Federation space. It's not like you can have the space, but not the planet inside of it. That's like saying, I don't own the car, but I do own the seats inside of it. It doesn't really make a lot of sense.
You got a point. It's in Federation space. May not be a Federation presence on it. But
I don't know how to handle this situation.
So the trait that I'm going to freely create from this, because it's part of my combo, is simply put, I am extraordinarily well prepared for negotiations.
I am 100% happy to have that trait.
Okay.
I will not argue in the slightest on that.
Ready to go.
All right. So Donko has a briefcase full of hard copy paper from the 20th century that he's ready to flail about as needed. He's got his handkerchief and he's got the environmental control set up so he can dab away the sweat. Anyone else doing anything before heading off to the briefing room?
Yes. So I'm leaving the Ray/Latinum mining thing for Hessel, but I'm probably going to go talk to Argent, so he'll know because he can read it off of my brain. Argent, I want to investigate communication with this crystal life form, but like, you got the telepathy way better than me.
that's true, Doctor. You are a terrible telepath. Your empathy is quite good, but
yeah.
So what can I help you with?
I'm thinking we find a way where if we can create some sort of communication path, we can bring it into the courtroom, essentially.
Well, you could always scan my brainwave patterns, check the alpha wave emissions, and find where the entity on the planet interacted with them, and we should be able to then develop a communication path line based on my brain scans.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's if we can get your alpha waves down, then we can definitely reroute it. Maybe if I have some sort of vibrating crystal that creates the same harmonics, like we can totally do that. You can help me?
Absolutely.
All right. And that's what Dr. Tallis and Argent is going to work on.
Run this by me again. What specifically are you trying to do?
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay. I just saw someone pull up a piece of paper that filled up the screen on Twitch.
I accidentally opened a PDF on my wrong monitor. Sorry about that.
I just saw like something terrible on the side of my eye. Sorry. I'm going to try to create some sort of harmonics waves that match the alpha waves pattern that is telepathy to Argent, as a means of communication, even if it's like yes, no, or something like that, that would allow it to transmit to a sort of a listening device or a receiver. And,
essentially a carrier wave that we can beam using the deflector to the crystal creature.
Crystal walkie-talkies.
To establish two-way communication without requiring individual telepathy.
Yes.
Okay.
And have the ship's translators translate the information to the best of
I
its
don't
ability.
understand anything about alpha waves or anything like that, but this is Trek and that doesn't matter.
Yep.
So I do think that this is something that could be done easily with time. Because you have a few minutes, I think creating something like this would be a little bit more difficult. I think this should be... I think it should be engineering because you're trying to create a device essentially.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I would say probably
reason.
I think daring because you're trying to do it quickly.
All right. So that's a 13 for me. Improvisation, I assume, will work as a focus for this.
Improv would be perfect for this. As for difficulty, I think 3 difficulty.
Okay. I'm going to, we have a butt ton of momentum. Let me just look at what that is right now.
Actually, I'm looking for difficulty 4. It would be attempting to integrate technology with the incompatible technology of another species. I think that kind of makes sense. This species doesn't have technology, so it would be incompatible. So I think we'll go difficulty 4 on this.
Okay. Then it would be 2 momentum for 2 dice, or is it 3 momentum for 2 dice? Sorry.
It's 3 momentum for 2 dice.
Momentum.
How about this? So as my efforts to assist her, I will use my telepathy to try to make contact with the crystal creature on the planet to open that pathway. And if I succeed on that, I will leverage follow my lead talent, which will give her an automatic 1 on an assist die from me, which will give her 2 successes.
I want to see it happen, so I'm going to say that this counts as a perilous situation and agree with you.
Sweet.
It's perilous. The thing almost killed me the last time I talked to it.
It did.
So I think to assist, we'd be going presence, and I'd say still engineering, I think. But you're using your telepathy, so we'll make it presence instead.
Okay. So that's going to be 14 for me. Can I still use persuasion focus?
I don't think persuasion would be the one for this. Because
investigation.
I think we're the core of this action is to create a device. So you're not necessarily trying.
My core action is to make telepathic contact with the crystal creature and keep the telepathic channel open so that the doctor can
match those
use the scans to develop the device.
Okay, let's go persuasion.
Okay. So I'm looking for a 14 on 2 dice. I got a 3 and an 8, so that's 3 successes to make contact with the creature.
Okay.
Wait, why did you get the 2 dice for the assist?
No, this isn't the assist. This isn't the assist. This is the action. I'm making.
You're
the
trying to do
to make
another
telepathic.
action.
Yeah. So I've got to take an action, and then if I succeed, and that helps the follow-on action, which will be the doctor's, she gets an automatic 1 as an assist from me.
Okay. So we're kind of doing this as like a extended task or a challenge. Okay.
Yeah.
So you do succeed, and then you're doing the follow my lead, which if you do choose a single ally who can hear you, the next task counts as having assistance from you using your presence command. So now you get to assist her with presence command.
But the last of it is the assistance die is a 1. So she gets 2 successes automatically from me.
I think I'm still going to take the 3 momentum for the 2 dice just to play it a little bit safe on this one. And that will give me a...
Did you already take the momentum out of the pool?
I didn't.
We only have 2 right now.
Oh, sorry.
So that means you'll be spending 2 momentum and giving me 1 threat.
No, I marked it down. It was at 5. I put it down for 2.
You're good.
Yeah, it was at 5 earlier. And also that is 4 successes before I count Argent's, and one of them is a 3, which is below my engineering. So that is 6 successes plus another 2 from Argent for 8 successes. So I'll bank some momentum.
Bank some momentum.
Yeah, and I'll reduce the amount of time required. Hold on, I'm on ship combat sections. I need to scroll back up. Where was the I can spend it to reduce time?
It's 2 momentum to have the time.
Okay, and then 4 to succeed.
I already said 2. That you were going to be able to do it if you succeed on the test by creating this new device. But if you have the time, then essentially you're doing it on the, like, as you're walking through the corridors, you are tinkering with the device, and then by the time you reach the briefing room, you do like one final little click in, and it's finished, and it's up, and it's running. Not necessarily tested, but you're very confident that it'll work. And Argent has already made telepathic contact as well, which what would you essentially be saying as part of your action, Argent?
So he's conveying the message that he wants he wants this entity that they recognize as an intelligence to be a part of this negotiation so it can partner with the Federation to help protect it and its planet from anyone else.
Oh, this poor Ferengi.
Right. Your Honor, I would like to call a new witness.
I'd like to call the planet.
The planet.
You are absolutely able to convey that. You do know that the communication barrier with this creature has always been very difficult. It doesn't seem to understand language in the same way that you all do. It often expresses concepts more than anything. But you do express that to the best of your ability. How much it understands, you'll never be able to really know because this brain is just so vastly different than yours. But you do make the contact. The device is working, and you believe that you're able to somehow send messages to it. The understanding back and forth is going to be a little bit more tricky, but that doesn't mean it can't be done, and you have the technology created to do so.
Awesome. And you know who's really good at communication?
Good job, Doc.
Yeah, thanks so much, Argent. Hessel, I got you a new communication device.
Hessel, would there have been anything you were doing on the way to the briefing room?
So Hessel is, she's got a few different focuses that are connected to like cultural expert, diplomacy, all of those kinds of things. So if we are expecting that Leshka is going to be here, then she would make sure that she, you know, how in conference rooms you always have sort of the, you know, water pitcher with the water glasses, but also having some like snail juice and slug of cola and other things that like Ferengi would drink, like having all of that ready. So like that's what Hessel does in her kind of like setting the stage for things.
All right,
God,
let's
slug of cola.
go
That's such a good
Presence
one.
Command here. Ferengi are a culture that has quite a bit of experience with the Federation, so I'd say difficulty 1.
Sorry, you said Presence Command?
I think that makes sense. Do you want to argue for something else?
No, I just didn't hear you.
Oh, no worries.
So defensive, Stephen.
13.
It was just
I mean, it's like he's been attacked or something.
Would you like to argue something different?
Really?
And I have cultural expert and diplomacy are my focuses. So I'm trying to roll under 3.
Both of those would absolutely work in this situation.
Oh, well. And then you actually have to roll the dice, and then you actually have to like honestly report back what those numbers are.
Did you get it from the sewer?
Apparently, I rolled a 20 and a 9. So
okay, so we've got a complication. All right,
the snail juice is poisoned.
A success, and yeah.
Well,
you want to buy off that threat, or buy off that complication with threat, or suffer it now?
Let's buy it off.
Okay, so you're giving me 2 threat.
Yeah.
All right.
It's homemade snail juice from bathroom snails.
But
I think that's the better way to go. Right?
She gets the
like,
store brand
screw this up on the front end.
cola. It's not like actual.
Right.
You got Dr. Thunder?
It's like RC
I only drink
or
Dr.
something.
Invertebrate juice.
That's what it is. Who took the last Mr. Pibb? Oh, I love that movie. Sorry.
All right. So Hessel, you succeed in making your charcuterie board specifically tailored to Ferengi, making it as hospitable as possible, repaying the hospitality that Lishka showed you when you were on the refinery. And you've got a smorgasbord of snacks in front of you in the briefing room.
And so that's where kind of Talus comes in to kind of present, and she's just hold on, and she's very particular about kind of getting, you know, it's sort of like the, you know, formal dinner thing or like measuring, you know, in between, you know, a plate napkin setup of whatever, and she's just kind of wrapping that bit up. Yes, doctor.
Wow, far out, Dudette. That's amazing. Here, we got a new communication device for you. You can telepathically, well, sort of, through this crystal, talk to the planet.
Oh, they're talking words now?
Concepts.
No. They'll be communicating through pictographic concepts and abstracts, but I should be able to translate it.
This is excellent. Good work.
Yeah, no worries.
And she's looking expectantly for additional compliments on her table setting, looks around, sees that it's not coming, and settles in to look at this communication device.
Does it really just look like a conference room, like speakerphone, or like the triangle that has the speaker in the middle?
I was thinking it was like a cylinder speaker, but yeah, we can totally do the triangle conference one. That would make more sense for the scene.
All right. And that brings us to Dvorggern. Is there anything you wanted to be doing, or were you happy to just go to the briefing room?
I think the only thing that would make sense for him after hearing the just inane ramblings of Dr. Danko and just like how he's going to bury these people under just all kinds of legalese, he's going to be like, well, we're probably going to have some kind of security situation. So he does the opposite of what Hessel does, and he just looks for any kind of security risks, kind of make sure, because they're coming to the Intrepid, right?
Yes, Lishka is coming, likely with a small entourage, but it wouldn't be that many people. And there are, as you would know, Starfleet protocols for this type of thing, where you could have a security team on standby. They won't be, by standard protocol, they wouldn't be present in the briefing room, because that would be like a faux pas, like saying you need security, but they would be nearby and able to get there within a moment's notice.
Yeah, so then it's just essentially locking down like any like, oh, what's this utility closet go to doors, and like just getting them to be only one path, eyes on them at all times, cameras if those are a thing, monitoring everything so that no one can slip out of sight or kind of set up any nefarious things when the ruling comes down very swiftly from Danko.
Okay. So this would be a very basic thing. I think this would be difficulty 0 if you want to make a roll, or you can automatically succeed at it. If you want to make a roll, then I would say that it would be presence command or presence security, I think. And difficulty 0 means that you're going to succeed and possibly build up momentum, but there's a chance of rolling a complication. So it's your call.
I'll take the risk. It's more fun that way. And I'll do presence security. So I need a 13 or less. I got a 12 and a 9, so that's 2 successes.
Okay. So it was difficulty 0. That's 2 successes that can go directly into momentum, or you can make a trait. Is there anything you'd like to do with them?
Can't really think of any useful trait from my side of things, so I'll just bank it.
Okay. You guys have built up a lot of momentum.
You're like prepared for anything or something? I don't know.
Actually, I do think that's pretty fair. If we
trait.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. Yeah. So add it to our traits list that you're prepared for anything. All right. So we have our away team assembled in the briefing room. There are plenty of snacks specifically tailored to Ferengi taste. There's plenty of pads nearby. Danko, I assume, has 4 of them, each with various documents ready to go. Argent, Talus, you are there as well. You have this small communication device that you have set up. And then, of course, Captain Shelby is there. And that would be around the time when the door opens. And you see that there has been an ensign that was guiding Lishka throughout the ship. She moves in along with 2 of her workers from the refinery, assumably. Not 2 people that you recognize. Mull is not among this group. It is just Lishka and 2 other executives. Wow, look at this. How delightful. I do always appreciate Federation hospitality. And she moves in and she starts taking bits and pieces from your trays that you've set out. And she seems to be really enjoying it. Captain Shelby, of course, stood up when she entered and gestures towards the chair. Please have a seat. Join us. Let's discuss how we can ease the tension. It seems that you are bent on your course of action, but I believe that especially our Commander Danko here has some alternatives for you to consider. Well, this supposed life form, as you say, does seem to be targeting my refinery, and I cannot let my people be in jeopardy. So whatever this is, we do have to resolve it with extreme haste. What is it that you...
Yeah, so Danko will stand up, and he will be very casual about it all, and he'll walk around. If you permit me, Captain.
Of course, by all means.
Excellent. Well, Lishka, I am so very sorry that your mining operations have suffered, and the Federation is prepared. I have been in contact with the Geological Survey and the Starfleet Corps of Engineers, and we have collected a very, very attractive array of alternative mining locations that we could take your mining operations and relocate them to. All of them match to some degree or another, in some cases much more robustly than the planet that you're currently on. And considering that your operations are currently, as you claim, under threat, this seems like the most prudent means of doing so. I can guarantee you, just by looking and comparing the data of the various veins and available resources on this planet compared to some of these other locales, it is, this is, I think the phrase is chump change compared to what you can find out here. And then he'll kind of place in front of her one of the many tablets that he has that contains just a taste of what is available. Just a taste.
Give me an insight command here, I think. We're going to say difficulty 2.
Okay. Now, I've been digging into the rules for traits. So I have created 2 traits that I think might apply and potentially reduce the difficulty. One, as we just seen earlier, is well prepared for these negotiations. And 2, ingratiated to Leshka, as we bonded.
So both of those would work for the persuasion aspect, but that's not specifically what I'm asking this roll for.
Okay.
So in this case, I don't think either of those apply.
What am I rolling for?
Essentially seeing her reaction, you're judging how she's responding to this.
Okay, gotcha. We don't think ingratiated to Leshka would apply here?
In this case, no.
Okay, so
and you might learn why in a bit.
Command and what was the other one?
Insight.
All right, what do we got for momentum? I'll burn through momentum. This is my forte. We're down to that. Okay, here we go. And I don't really think I have any focuses that would apply. All single digits. 9, 7, 4, and 5. So 4 successes. No focuses apply.
Right, 4 successes. So you're possibly earning back momentum. You can use it to obtain information here when I describe, but you are getting the success. Mm-hmm. You see Lishka, she picks up this pad, and she makes a show of reading through it, but you can see even her eyes, they're not scrolling. She's looking at the pad. She's swiping to read through. She's pretending to read this, but not reading a single word. And after a few moments, she sets it down. Well, I do see that there's opportunity for expansion, and I wouldn't mind purchasing rights to refine in some of these places. However, Abassa 7 it's personal to me. It's my home.
That is a very interesting phrase that you have just used. It is your home. You would say that home is a very important feature to a person, yes? It is a place that you would, what does the human say, where you hang your hat. It is a place where you feel comforted and safe. Is that not correct?
Indeed it is.
Yes, so then you can certainly understand when the species, the life form that calls this planet, Bassa, its home, indigenous in fact, that they are, well,
well within their rights to defend themselves. Furthermore, should any party foreign to that particular planet take up arms or an industry that might threaten their home, they are actually in violation of a significant number of interstellar laws and regulations, both within the Federation and outside of the Federation, going back centuries. And then he will walk over and he'll place a second one of his pads down in front of her. This is just a cursory list, of course, of the violations and the precedents that your company is currently facing. As you can see, all of the previous mining operations that have committed the same sort of action that you have gone, bankrupt, in fact. That looks quite... I'm not sure how that would look for a Ferengi businesswoman. So he'll place that in front of her.
Well, rule of acquisition 18, a Ferengi without profit is no Ferengi at all. However, I do question the core foundation of your assumption here. You are saying that this life form is intelligent.
Yes.
And I do not believe that I'm convinced it is so. For me, this is no different than, if a fang cat bites you, you put it down. Whatever this life form...
Madam Lishka, I am currently in telepathic communication with the entity. It has a complex and varied mind, communicates in understandable ways through pictograms and memories. It is fully sentient and fully aware, and has requested Federation assistance in protecting its sovereignty.
And while I would never, ever think to question Federation integrity, is it not possible that perhaps you just bumped your head and these are a hallucination?
Ma'am, let's be very clear. Your operations are going to shut down, and if you don't trust me, we'll wait until a full team of Betazoids and Vulcans come to confirm the entity's intelligence and sentience. Regardless, your operations are not going to resume, and you're going to be evacuated. In the eventuality that it's proved that this being is not sentient and you're allowed to return to mining operations, you will be allowed to do so at that time. I expect it will be several standard Federation years before the Vulcans and Betazoids have confirmed the status of this planet and the life form on it.
As he's saying that, I want Danko to have a second data pad that he has in his hand.
And since it will take several years to perhaps reinstitute mining operations, and it's not even a guarantee, perhaps those years might be better spent on the even more lucrative geological survey results that I currently hold in my hand, that I would be more than happy to share with you if you would agree to shut down your mining operations post-haste. And I'm sure we could lend aid in that matter.
Years that it may be, and I do welcome Federation inquiries. As I've said, I'm very committed to deepening our ties with the Federation. I do believe that there is mutual profit to be had there. However, my people are in danger now, and years is not something that we have. And many of my workers refuse to evacuate because this, as I have said, is their home. So I, of course, have to take action now. And while that inquiry can come as soon as you can have them, I would welcome these scientists, these Vulcans, as you say, to test the planet. But I do have to ensure that this storm is nullified immediately.
You do understand that if you open fire on this entity, we will be forced to protect it. Once you engage with a Starfleet vessel, you will be considered terrorists in the Federation. You will be hunted and imprisoned, and your entire staff will join you in a federal penal colony for several decades.
Only if it is proven that this entity is intelligent.
No, once we interpose ourselves and you open fire on a Federation starship, you at that point will be declared criminal.
I have never threatened to fire on a Federation starship.
Well, we'll be in front between you and the planet.
But peace.
Open fire on the planet, and you will find yourselves in serious legal consequences.
Well, the good
we are happy to
responsibility.
We are happy
to tell at this point. You can tell at this point that she's definitely on her back heel. But she does have some sort of stubbornness. We'll roll over your success here, Danko, where you got a bit of insight to her. She does have some very stubborn reluctance to leave this planet specifically.
So I think he will create a kind of a very disappointed looking, like, Lishka, my friend, I'm very sorry to have to do this. And then he's going to turn to Dvorggern and say, under Article 13 of the Treaty of Harmons 2267, in violation of a sentient being's rights to their own planetary environment and development, our Lieutenant Dvorggern is going to have to put you into custody. Now, Ms. Lishka, we will, rest assured, take care of your people down on the planet to ensure that they are in no way, shape, or form harmed. We will recover them as well. So, and then he will slowly begin picking up the various data pads in front of her.
Dvorggern's making a beeline toward
passage.
And your safety has not been harmed at any manner. We will find quarters for you, will we not, Captain? And we'll kind
Shelby
of look around
does. We have promised Lishka that she would be able to freely leave our ship. That was the condition of her joining us for this communication.
Was that the condition?
We did say that last session, that Lishka said that she wanted to be able to leave when she wanted.
Okay. Would the captain
I think literally if you make a promise like that, you kind of... The thing is, you're not in the habit of
she's literally against interstellar law. We are 100% within our rights to put her into custody.
So can we make the argument? So can we make the argument to the captain, given the information that we have learned, given her refusal to abide by the discussion that we've had, given her refusal to take other options, given that she is insistent on, instead of evacuating her personnel, utilizing this as an excuse for aggressive actions toward the planet, trying to kind of make that argument to the captain that it would be irresponsible of us to release her back to her ship, given her very clearly stated plans, if she were to do so.
Also, can't Argent just telepathically find out why she's so... Nope. No. Okay.
Can't read it, but we do know why. We're already aware.
They got the tinfoil hat.
We're aware of her side hustle of mining platinum. We just haven't brought it up yet.
Well, like, that's the thing. Like, in his other data pad, some of his other geological sites are specifically sites that could result in significant, like, latinum, well, not significant relative to what latinum actually is, right? Like, that's what he has. Like, he has that at his disposal. But she's being so, I don't know. She's breaking like interstellar law. And so, like, it feels weird that our captain would just be like, okay, you can leave now. Like,
the way I see it,
weird.
And I'm not trying to argue with you, and I do agree that she's clearly in the wrong. But the way I see it, that if you were to have like a negotiation with like a Romulan that would like come on board the ship, even if you don't agree with them, and it could result in aggression between the two of you, you would still release the Romulan back to your ship. To their
I think the difference
I did the preparation
is
though.
That
go ahead.
It would be like if we're, it's sort of that, like, we are in battle with each other and you're going to go back and do your thing and we're going to go back and do our thing. And this is what we're going to do. And we both know about it. In my mind, the difference here is that there is an entity that we are, as a Federation, looking to be protective of in accordance with our laws. So it's not just I know you're going to fire at me and I'm going to fire at you and, we're going to walk 10 paces and then do our thing. It's we're allowing someone who's going to genocide another entity to just go free and do that.
Greater good. I think would.
I also feel like
yeah.
I don't see any reason why Danko wouldn't have made like the case to the captain before. Like this isn't the first time the captain would have heard it. So like I don't understand why the captain would agree to let a potential genocide, like a person who has committed genocide to, or at least attempt it, to leave the ship because promises. Like, and it's not like we're in prison. We're just putting her in a very, very nice quarters until just to get her out of this, out of the danger of the
until
of the
everyone else
planet
can be evacuated and she can go back to their ship and leave the area. So these are the arguments that we're all making to the captain. That like,
yeah, we can say that these arguments happened before the briefing room. So
and while all those arguments are going on, Argent would lean over to Lishka and just whisper to her, regardless of what happens here, you're not going to pull another ounce of latinum off that planet. I'll make sure of that. So if that's the reason you're holding on so tight, you might want to look at some other location.
That was a key point, Aaron, was making the latinum known. But Hessel, first, let's resolve the plea with the captain, whether she would be willing to... I think you've made these points. You've laid a solid foundation. We'll just call this difficulty 1 to get the captain on your side. And I think presence command.
Okay.
Because Captain Shelby is... The way I'm trying to run her is that she's very supportive of her crew and she tries to give a lot of leniency to her crew. Okay, Jeff, we're letting the dice decide here, but there are regulations and laws to consider as well. So we'll go with that.
And so I would either would diplomacy, well, like I know Zharg has starship rules, which would be way more on the nose. But would
diplomacy works? Absolutely.
Diplomacy, okay. And then do we have any I'll take a momentum. If we do have 3 left, I'll take 1. And okay. Son of a bitch. Son of an actual bitch. God.
Spend determination for a reroll? What'd you get?
I got a 1, a 10, and a 20. So
okay, so you did get a success still.
I got 2
3 successes.
Yeah, 3 successes, yeah. So I can push the 20 to threat later.
You can if you want. You can give me 2 threat and buy off the complication.
Yes.
Okay. So the 3 successes, it was just 1. You've got 2 momentum still. If you'd like to make a trade or just bank it. It was difficulty 1, so you're getting the success.
Yeah, I don't feel like a trait is necessary. Like, unless anybody can think of anything, like it feels like just having the momentum for what's to come.
Brainwash the captain.
I don't really want to do that.
All right. So banking the 2 momentum. And we'll say that this argument happened before, while you were still setting things up in the briefing room. You were making the case to the captain that it may come to a point where we're going to have to arrest the Ferengi, and she was taking all of your opinions, and it was decided that if Lishka is unreceptive, then you will not let her return. So when Dvorggern goes to take Lishka into custody, the captain does not then say no, does not interfere. Do not interfere. Leah loves that line from The Godfather. Anyways, Argent, you lean down. And what was it you said again?
Lishka, your side hustle of pulling latinum out is over. You're not going to get another ounce off of this planet. I'll make sure of that personally. So you might as well take the deal. Take a better geological location where you still have a chance of pulling some latinum out of the ground, because it's not happening here.
All right. And now we're getting to the point that was the trigger where you get to make the social conflict roll against Lishka here. So we have laid a great foundation against her. We've got a lot of traits that are working against her as well. So she is going to roll and you are going to get essentially you're lowering the difficulty, which means you're raising the difficulty for her. Which from the traits we have, the ingratiated I think works, the well prepared for negotiation, and you've made several good arguments as well. So I think +3 makes sense. We good with that? All right. So who wants to be the one to actually make the social roll here? And I don't care if we go with like an intimidation style roll or if it's just persuasion, which would be like presence command. Otherwise, I think presence security would be because you're also intimidating. You've got the carrot and the stick.
I think persuasion might be the way to go, and I'm happy to make it since that's kind of my jam is the
All
talking
right.
part. He is.
Well, let's go presence command then.
Presence command. That for me is a 17. I'm gonna.
Oh, all right.
Go ahead and
roll.
Use 3 momentum. Oh, you're rolling against me. Is that it?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll, and then we'll go ahead and have you roll. So just 1 second here, Lishka, with her, she's gonna get 2 dice. I'm gonna spend a couple threat. You've given me a lot of threat, so I'm gonna spend 3 to give her 2 more dice. And she is going to be using presence command as well. And oh Jesus. I rolled 2 complications on that. How do I roll 2 net 20s?
Hey, I'm
What
not
happens
doing
when
it.
an NPC rolls a
luck is rubbing
complication?
off on you.
So I guess that would give you 4 momentum then? Is that what that does? When an NPC rolls a complication, if I buy it off, I give you
it hasn't
momentum.
happened before.
That's how it happens in other 2D20 games. I'm not sure. I don't know about this second Star Trek 2.
It sounds right to me, so I'm fine with that. So then I ended up getting 3 successes, but we're taking away the 3 because of the difficulty that you guys have done, essentially lowering the difficulty by 3. So Aaron, you've got a difficulty 0 task here.
All right. I will spend 1 momentum and to roll 3 dice against a 17. I'm using my badass Norse Foundry D20s that I got for Conan, so they've not failed me yet. A 10, an 8, and a 2 for a total of 4 successes.
All right. So you lean down, you say that she better take the deal. Well, upon further reflection, I don't see why this needs to be so hostile. If you are so determined to ensure that this life form, intelligent it may or may not be, needs to be protected, and I would prefer having a closer relationship with the Federation already, I don't see why we cannot just... There's a list of planets here, and I hear profit in the wind.
Excellent. Well, let's start evacuation of your facilities. We'll get the transporters running. We'll get all of your crew up here. Once the storm settles, we'll have Starfleet engineers help you disassemble your facility and relocate it.
Yes, indeed. And my fleet is already moving into position, as you know from your sensors, I'm sure. I will have to talk to Maul and have them stand down and begin the evacuation fully. If I could perhaps use your communicators?
Absolutely. Commander Hessel, you want to show Lishka to the communications?
And there would be like a computer that you can use in the briefing room if you want, or you can take her somewhere else.
I'd probably right here where everyone can kind of keep an eye on this communication. Yeah. I'd, escort her over and there you go. And she's pointing out the, areas that she needs to make her maneuvers.
So you send out or you show her where the communications is, and she knows how to use it. It's not quite the same computer system that she would use, but it translates enough that she's able to establish a comm link. And you see on the small viewer screen there, you see Vishran Maul her chief of operations, and he appears to be on board a ship. This does not look like the refinery. He looks like he's on the bridge of a small freighter, maybe. It looks like it's got a crew of maybe 4 or 5 people. Maul, we have come to successful conclusion with our negotiations, and we have decided that it is time to fully evacuate the planet and ensure that our people are safe on the Intrepid for now, as they have seen fit to offer a safe passage to another planet where our refinery can operate and we can enjoy much greater wealth. You see, Maul is Iridian. He's got that deep indent down his face from the forehead down. He's just covered in wrinkles. And you see these wrinkles deepen as his face kind of contorts into frustration or anger. Lishka, we have been partners for some time now. We are well on the way to making profit, but I think it's time that we stop pretending that you're the one in charge. The plan will continue. You see him reach forward and cut off communications. Lishka turns around nervously. Apologies, just one moment. Open comms here. And she opens the open comm link to everyone in the system. Attention, this is the administrator of the refinery, Lishka, and we are evacuating the system. We are standing down, and Vishran Mal is no longer chief of operations, effective immediately. Please acknowledge. And you do see acknowledgements start to come in, but at least a third of the fleet, actually, so a third of the fleet does not acknowledge, and I'm spending threat to, going to spend, let me look at how much it cost me to spend here, 1 second. I'm spending 5 threat.
Tessel's watching these responses come back, and so she's like making eye contact with everyone else here in the room on the away team and the captain, just to sort of make a sign that we're not getting as many responses as we needed to, and that this is not over.
All right. And you're clearly able to describe that. And Lishka is this whole time just like telling you, like, it's fine. They're taking their time, but they'll listen to me. I'm the administrator. They know that I'm the boss. But I've spent 5 threat. So you see that 2 freighters and 4 interceptors have not acknowledged that Lishka has told them to stand down. And it appears that they are still moving into position to begin an orbital bombardment. It's going to take them a couple turns, but it's very clear by now that they have not responded. And Captain Shelby says, "Red alert, all hands to battle stations." Wait, Captain, I'm sure it'll be fine. And Captain Shelby is already out of the briefing room. Dvorggern, you already have prepared for anything. So I think it's safe to say that the security team is already there to escort Lishka away, not necessarily throwing her in the brig, but putting her somewhere comfortable, like Argent said. And everyone is moving to the bridge, which is right next to the briefing room. And you are taking your battle stations then?
Oh, yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
All right. So we are moving into Starship Combat. This is our first time doing Starship Combat. Let's go around and say which station everyone will be taking. Argent, as executive officer.
We'll be taking command.
Command. Dvorggern.
I'll be at the tactical station.
All right. Hessel, have you decided?
I'm going to start with Helm. And if I need to switch stations, I will, but I'm going to start Helm.
All right. And as you go to Helm, it's just like in the show, you see that there's an ensign there, and he sees you walking towards, and without even having to acknowledge, he gets out of the chair and he moves to a different part of the room, going to a different computer. Donko, where will you be?
Sensors.
Sensors. All right. And Talus, are you going to be playing a supporting character, or are you on the bridge with us?
So Talis is going to the bridge just to do the doctor thing, which is stand next to the command chair while every action is going on, so they're still in the scene. Then realizes Bowser, our engineer, he's still supposed to have...
Officer.
He's on Risa.
He is currently on Risa and not at his battle station, so Talis will quickly run over and take over engineering for the moment.
So Bowser normally isn't on the bridge. He's normally in the transport room.
Yeah, he's on Risa.
He's on Risa, yeah.
Risa.
But when he is on the Intrepid, he tends to be by himself in the transport room because no one wants to go there and say hi to him. It's a very sad life. No wonder he's so eccentric. We all feel bad for him. We all love him, too. We said it before the session. Everyone told me how much they love him.
Some things were said. It may not have been those words in that order, but things were said about him.
All right, we are moving into Starship Conflict, and this works very similar to Personal Conflict, where we have order with initiative, taking actions, things like that. There are zones in space where these ships are. We're going to say that the Intrepid has been circling the system at more of a distance. We'll say that you're 2 zones away from the planet. And then the planet itself, we're going to say, has 4 zones. We're going to say it has the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere, the eastern and western. Eastern and western just being the way you're looking at it from the Intrepid right now. These freighters have split into 2 groups. There's a freighter and 2 interceptors in the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So we're going to start with the Intrepid taking an action, and then we're going to do back and forth there. And one of the suggestions is that you take an action for each player action, and then if needed, you can take additional actions for multiple starships. We're going to start with just 1 starship going for each player, and we'll see how that goes. And then as things get more tense, maybe more freighters will end up going. We'll see how it goes. But the Intrepid is full red alert. The klaxons are blaring. We've got red lights flashing. Captain Shelby has taken her seat. And the way narratively we're going to describe this is that you all are going to decide freely what actions you want to take. And then narratively, we'll say Captain Shelby has made those orders for you to follow. So which one of you would like to go first here?
I think from a command, just because I can keep the initiative and I can do a couple of tricky little things that might help us out a little bit here. I would like to take the major assist action for command for Starship, which will allow me to assist 2 characters instead of just 1. And I would like to provide assistance to Hessel and to Dvorggern. So I've got to roll control plus command, and if I succeed, when they take their action, I roll command plus control.
You get to add
if I succeed.
Assist. Yeah.
Then I would like to spend 1 momentum or 2 momentum to take a second major action, and that is direct. And direct Commander Danko to use the sensors to find the weakness of the freighters. And so he immediately, outside of turn order, now gets to take a major action. And I assist him with command and control.
Awesome. I love it.
And it takes an extra momentum to actually take that, to do
that.
I
already
took
it
ends
off.
up being... Okay.
Yeah, total of 3 in total. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And I got a 7 on my assist die, so I did assist Danko, who gets to take that immediately.
So then Danko gets over. He's on his where on the layout? Like, what's the layout of our bridge? Like, where is
it's
Danko?
very similar to the Voyager, where there's the dual captain chair, executive officer chair, and then we've got a couple people in front. I think sensors would probably be like the front right.
Okay. I was thinking like the Harry
left.
Kim's. I was thinking like Harry Kim in the back, like he's in the back right, because like in the back, because in the back left is where like was where Tuvok was, and then like back right was Ensign Kim, and then I know Tom was up front for
the helm. Is definitely one of the ones up front.
Yeah.
And then sensors could be back. I know tactical is normally in the back.
Isn't there only in Voyager? Isn't there only one up front? I think it's just Tom up front. I think so.
Honestly, my brain kind of blends the Enterprise bridge too. I might be thinking next gen.
Okay, so he's gonna do like the Commander Riker kind of shortcut, and he's just gonna kind of like hop over the railing. And he just immediately gets on it. And specifically the freighter, you wanted, like you said, there's one freighter and then there's a couple different transports.
There's two freighters, one on the northern hemisphere and one on the southern hemisphere.
Okay, was there?
And there are two interceptors, like small pilot fighters, that are in each hemisphere as well.
Would Argent direct me to a specific ship?
Do we know which freighter Maul was on? Which freighter he was transmitting from?
I don't think you would know. Actually, you would with the
communications.
We would know. Yeah. It'll be northern hemisphere is where Maul is.
Target the freighter on the northern hemisphere.
Okay.
We get Maul to surrender. The rest of them will fall in line.
Okay. So this is so I'm doing scan for weakness. This is what it's called. You scan enemy vessel. You look for vulnerabilities. You choose a single vessel. You attempt a control plus science task with a difficulty of 2, which is assisted by the ship's sensors plus security. If this succeeds, the next attack made against that ship increases its damage by 2 or gains the piercing quality. So does somebody roll sensors plus security first for assist?
Yeah. Dvorggern, how about you roll sensor security? You're looking for a 13. 1 die. You are muted, good sir. Comms are jammed.
Yeah, I unmuted myself. Sorry, I got a 9.
We're 10 feet from each other.
Morgan!
All right, how do we do?
I got a 9, so under 13.
One success.
So I've got 1 success from Argent and 1 success from Dvorggern already. So I'm already passing it, so I just need a pass. Okay, so control plus science for me is 13. I'll leave momentum from other people. Actually, no, I'll be safe. I'm gonna spend 1. I'm gonna spend 1 momentum just to get a 3rd die, just to be safe. All right. That is 2 successes. So I got a 9 and an 8. So 2 successes plus their 2 equals 4. I'm a 16, so I just missed my complication range because I'm still at complication 17 up.
All right. So that's success and 2 momentum. Do you want to spend that momentum on anything? You are scanning for weaknesses. You see that this freighter, it's designed specifically for carrying massive amounts of deuterium. It's not necessarily meant for combat, which makes it very sluggish. And it makes it much easier to predict specifically where it'll be, allowing your targeting a lot easier.
I'm going to use my bonus momentum, not this. So the 2 that I got extra, we can store those for you guys. My bonus momentum, I want to ask a question. And the question is, are they currently carrying any cargo on my sensors?
Yes, they would have. They're not completely full of cargo, but they do have a good amount of deuterium already loaded on. Likely it was deuterium that was ready to be moved off, from standard procedure. It doesn't appear that any of the cargo is anything unexpected.
Okay. So then for my second question, since I get 2, I want to ask is like the deuterium, like would the deuterium cargo bay be a specific place of weakness?
Yeah, it would.
Okay. So then I want to then, as my teacher trait, create a trait that Dvorggern can then use to help him when he makes the roll, that the cargo bay is weakened, or it's primed, something like that. So then,
deuterium is often like a spaceship fuel, and for transport, it's made as safe as possible. So it's not necessarily explosive, but if you have the right type of phaser, the right type of frequency, it could be much more combustive.
Okay. And so Dvorggern, what this means is this is my teacher trait. Since I'm specifically creating this and telling you about it, when you go to roll, you can re-roll one of your D20s.
Ooh, okay. Nice. And since it's still technically my turn, I will use decisive leadership to keep the initiative.
Of course we are. I love it. I really do love it. That's one of my favorite things about this game is the combos, like the combos that you can trigger as even GM watching the players do it. It's very satisfying for me. So who wants to go next then?
So would it be fair to say that we would probably be trying to fire some kind of like energy attack on the ship this turn?
Likely using your phaser arrays, yes.
Okay. So something that I can do as a so like minor action, if I need to impulse or thruster remove us, I can, is just a minor action. So if I need to kind of get us in a better position, I can certainly do that. As a major action, though, I can do attack pattern. So I fly steadily to make it easier for shipmates to target the enemy. If I take this action each time your ship makes an attack before your next turn, you may assist using Control Con. However, until your next turn, all attacks against the ship reduce their difficulty by 1, which feels like we're pretty early on. So it might not be the worst thing to take that negative now.
And just so you understand your positioning, I have said that you are 2 zones away from the zones by the planet. And your phasers have range of medium, which would mean you need to move at least 1 zone closer to be able to target the freighters.
Okay. So the impulse minor action for Helm, you using impulse engines, you can move up to 2 zones. If we only need to move 1 zone, I can reduce the momentum cost of movement through difficult or hazardous terrain, which I don't think applies here.
There is no hazardous terrain here, no.
So minor action, I can give an instruction for impulse. So I'm basically using impulse to move us the required amount of zones.
And we see Hessel's fingers on a slider on the glass, and you push it forward, and then we see the Intrepid kind of bank a little bit. You all don't feel it on the bridge, but we see the ship zoom forward and moves a bit closer to the ship, heading towards... moving forward 1 zone, you'll be adjacent to both the north and southern hemispheres. But if you move a second zone, you would have to decide whether you want to be north or southern. Do you want to be in the same zone with them, or do you want to be next to them?
As long as we can fire from 1 zone out, that would be the preference.
Okay, so you'll stay a bit further away from the planet, and you can still fire on both the northern and southern hemispheres from where you are. So that's your minor action then. And you want to do the evasive, like you said?
Yeah, and so basically that would happen when anyone else on the ship takes an attack before my next turn. This will help me with the assist. Okay,
that was for attack pattern, not evasive action, right? Which one was it? I'm sorry.
Correct, attack pattern.
Okay, yeah. I read all the actions before and I got the names mixed up in my head.
Yeah,
all right, so that's attack pattern then, and you will make that. You may assist on that attack, so you make the roll on their turn.
Yep. But it's my Control Con, which I'm excited about because that's a 16, which is the highest combo of things that I can do.
All right. So you will see that the freighters are continuing to move towards where they want to bombard, but 2 of the interceptors split off and begin heading towards the Intrepid. They're still staying in the zone, but essentially they're breaking formation. And one of these interceptors is going to attempt to attack the Intrepid. All right.
Difficulty reduced by 1 because of my attack pattern.
And I believe I'm just looking for difficulty 1 then, is how this works. I'm going to spend some threat because I've got it. All right. So I'm rolling 3 dice here. Okay. So that's 2 failures, but 1 success. So because the difficulty was reduced by 1, I do hit. These are phaser cannons. 5 damage here. Versatile 2, which means on a successful hit, I get 2 momentum. I will spend that momentum to increase the damage, making it 6 damage. All right, 6 damage. Reduced by the Intrepid's resistance of 4 means that 2 damage is going through towards your shields. You all have shields of 15. They should be bumped down to 13. So the ship shakes a little bit. This like a 3 out of 10 on the vibration here. As some of these phasers hit you, you all shake in your, but no sparks go flying. No one falls out of their seat yet. As you take a very minor hit from these phaser cannons. And that is the interceptor's turn, and we push it back to the players.
Pew pew.
Dvorggern, target the freighter.
Yeah, so that's just what I was going to do. So are they the freighter? Is it starboard or port to the Intrepid?
It would be directly ahead right now.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, then as a minor action, I think I'm going to calibrate the phasers to get +1 damage to them for 1 attack. And then I want to use my precision targeting, which I have this Intrepid up right now, so now I need to get Dvorggern back up. So I can more easily pick out and target specific systems when making an attack. So essentially, whenever I target, it would be the Cargo, because that's what the weakness is for the deuterium. So I can also re-roll a d20. So with Danko and with precision targeting, I can re-roll both d20s. I will also take momentum. How much do we have right now? Is it still... Oh, it's 4. I think I'll just take 1 for now.
And as for the system that we're using for the freighters, we're going to say that the Cargo is part of the structure system on the freighter.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yes, so I would target the structure system. I've calibrated as a minor action to get that additional damage. And
you get an assist from Hessel here. So Hessel, why don't you roll your
and from Argent, right?
And from Argent.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Let me roll my.
We are stacking these dice.
I got a 12, so you did get. I succeeded in assisting you.
Perfect.
I got a 7, so I also succeeded.
Excellent. Okay, so that's 2 successes already. I don't remember. Oh, sorry, I've got like several things to pull up here.
It's our first ship combat. No worries.
I'm going to assume that I need to just do control and security for my personal role on making this attack.
This would be daring, I believe.
Well, the reason... interesting.
I'm sorry. No, it is control security. What am I saying?
Okay.
Attempting a starship trap attack. Attempt control security assisted by the ship's weapons security with difficulty of 2 for phasers or 3 for torpedoes.
Yeah, and I'm going to be going with... phasers first. Okay, so then I need to get a 15 or lower. All right, I'm going to re-roll, use one of the re-rolls, because so far I have a 4 and a 6. I want to see if I can get, and then an 18. I want to see if I can get the 18 lower. I'm going to use the second re-roll. Okay. All right. Well, I got a 4, a 6, and an 8. 4 matches my security, so that would be 4 successes from me, plus the 2 from Argent and Hessel. So 6 total.
And we also need a roll from the ship. So Talos, why don't you roll the weapon security for the ship, which is 10?
Sure, yeah. That is a 12, unfortunately.
Okay. So how many was that total then, Dvorggern?
It was 6 total.
6
and then
total.
+1 for the calibration, I'm assuming. So it'd be 7. Because do these dice count as like damage?
So the calibration is damage. Okay. Yeah. So that's the difference there. And for the damage, the phaser arrays are 9 damage. So that puts it up to 10.
You could spend the 4 momentum you just got to shoot it up to 12 damage.
Yeah, and not only that,
I'm going to do that.
You have piercing because of my action,
right.
So it ignores any and all resistance that the freighter would have.
Yeah, I'm just going to spend the momentum then to make it 12 damage, and it's an armor piercing. I was almost going to say round, but I think Argent might kill me if I say that officially.
We comboed the shit out of this.
I'm looking at the numbers on this freighter here, and they're just not adding up.
What does your Excel sheet say?
Dvorggern, how do you want to do this?
Okay. Upon listening to the cacophony of just commands being issued, just the noise going on, he's glaring as if he can see the ship. Like, actually, the view screen, when I'm making an attack, how precisely, like how well could I see what I'm aiming for? Like,
so the way it would work then is the view screen would show like essentially what's in front of the Intrepid or whatever you're looking at, but your targeting would actually be on the console in front of you. And that would be more algorithmic. It's not necessarily like a first person shooter where you're like pointing and shooting. You're typing in all sorts of equations to try and like factor in the motion of the ship, motion of your own ship, and then things like that. And the computer is doing a ton of math that you are directing.
Okay. Yeah. So then like he's basically just squinting down at his station or at his computer screen and just filtering out some of the background noise and listening attentively to Danko and to Hessel and to Argent. And he's just rapidly looking through, the lines that are flashing on the screen. And then he just, I guess it's as simple as pressing a button.
It really is.
Whenever he sees what he's looking for, he presses that button and then just looks up expectantly, just stoically rather.
And you look up at the view screen that everyone's watching right now, and we see this freighter. The interceptors have peeled off. They're not on screen right now. And we see the phasers. They blast at a certain point of the cargo hold, and then another one, and then another one, and another one. And you send out this pulse of phaser air rays that just hit in an arcing line across the cargo bay, essentially cutting the ship in half. And that final one ignites the deuterium inside there. And there's just a bluish tinted explosion that engulfs the rest of the ship. We see it breaks in half, and the explosion kind of pushes the halves apart before it engulfs the rest, and you just see debris flying. And on your computer, like the target just disappears.
I believe we sent our message swiftly.
Good work.
Wow.
Good.
Is there anything else you can do on your turn, or are you good?
He smirks ever so slightly if anyone catches it, and that's it.
All right. So I was going to say I'll take one turn for each of you. I think it makes sense now. We're going to go with one turn for each ship. So all the ships are going to get their own turn to see how this goes. So we're going to have that second interceptor that was moving in with the first. And it's going to also start firing its phasers at you all. Hessel, does it still get the -1 difficulty?
Yeah, so this is until my next turn. So the plus is on the attack, or my assist for each attack, and the -1 is until I go again.
All right, so I'm going to spend one more threat to give it a third die. We'll see how it rolls. Okay, there we go. I got 2 successes that time. So that is earning me a threat, and I get 2 bonus momentum because it is versatile. It's 5 damage. I'm going to spend that versatile again to increase the damage to 6. I'm going to bank that threat. And that's going to again do 2 damage after the resistance then, which puts us down to 11 total. And that takes us to our first breakthrough, because the 12 is the point of breakthrough, I believe. Is this when the shaken happens? No, that's at 50%. Never mind. Aaron, do you mind looking that up for me? What is there's breakthrough points on this, like extended tasks, but are they flipped for the shields, or do they do something else?
I have it here. It's
okay.
There's one halfway along the track you round up, and one three quarters of the way along the track and you round up. So that's like the breaking points for them. Is that what you're looking for?
So yeah. So what happens on that breakthrough point?
So okay. So if a ship is shaken, it has suffered minor damage or disruption. Oh, hang on. It's a D20. That's if it's shaken.
Yeah, the shaken happens at 50% and 25%, which is kind of the reverse of the breakthroughs, according to the toolkit and the other stuff there.
I mean, there is a D20 here, to where you like either pick or choose like what happens, like brace for impact, losing power, casualties, and minor damage, or roll again. So, because that's like the minor damage or disruption.
Yeah, on the next page, you're looking at 308, right? On page 309, it has starship damage, and then apply damage, shields at 50 and shields at 25. I think those are meant to be the breakthrough points, but they're flipped. Am I wrong on that?
I see what you mean. Yeah. So I
think that's what we're going to go with. We're going to say 50% is when the first.
Yeah.
We'll say 50% is when the first shaken happens.
So it should be at like 8 or something like that,
8,
rounded up,
yes.
I think. And right now we're at 11. Okay. Yeah, I follow you.
So we are good for now. And that is the interceptor's full turn. It had to move, and then it fired, and it hit. Your shields are going down. They're at 75%, which isn't ideal, but they are holding strong. And it's going to be a bit before you take more damage. Remember, the ship has already been damaged. That first Tetrion wave at the first session of this mission caused some breaches. And while you've repaired those breaches, you are no longer suffering the effects of them. The structural damage is still there until you get to a shipyard. So you have 3 breaches, and 1 more would be enough to put you to your scale, and then 1 more will actually incapacitate the Intrepid. So a couple hits here could be bad, but you're not there yet. And you are the Intrepid, and you are still fighting. So whose turn is it next? I believe Talus or Donko?
I believe it's about time to regenerate the shields from 11 back up to 15. I'm going to, so I double checked, and the ship begins each scene with reserved power. So I'm going to use that reserved power to boost the shields. And I need a control plus engineering with a difficulty of 2 assisted by the ship's structure plus engineering with the difficulty increases by 1 if the ship's shields are at 0. They're not. Gen shields equal to your engineering department plus 2 per spend, 1 momentum. Okay, so if someone can roll me structure plus engineering for the ship.
Got it.
Thank you. I will do control plus engineer, yes.
Trying to roll under 12.
Wait, hold on. Melissa's rolling? Wait a minute.
Melissa's the only one who doesn't
jumping. It's 3 strikes.
Jumping.
Wait.
It's 3 strikes. She only has 2 strikes right now.
It'll give you a chance, Melissa.
I rolled a 2 under engineering of 3.
All right, so now you start cheating. I see how it
is. All right. And then okay, so I have 1 success and then a difficulty of 2. So I'm not going to bother adding momentum. My control plus engineering. Oops, that's the ship. Is decently high. That is a 15. So I will roll 2 dice. That is a 3 and a 14. So both of them are under my engineering for a total of 3 successes, which means that the ship shields are going to regenerate my 4 of engineering department, which would bring it. But yeah, I don't need to spend momentum to increase it. So we'll bank the momentum and bring the shields up to full again.
All right, your engineering is 4, which means you regenerate 4 shields. You've only taken 4 shield damage. That brings you to 100% shields. You hear the thrum of the ship, and you hear the whoosh as the shields repower up. You're banking momentum. That is excellent. Does this look like anything as you're at the console?
Yo, I totally healed inorganic material.
You can heal anything.
I believe I did the opposite of that, Dr. Talus.
Yeah. And that's it for me. I looked through the minor actions. I don't think I'd be that helpful in this moment.
Captain Shelby hears you say that, and she turns and gives you a stern look. But as she turns back to the viewer, you see a slight smile on her face. All right. So we're going to go with we've got 2 other interceptors and a freighter that's still up. We're going to say the 2 other interceptors begin moving. I'm only activating 1 right now. It begins moving towards the ship. And again, we're going to have them start firing their phasers at you all. I'm going to spend some threat here to try and get some of that damage back down. Yep, go ahead.
So quick question. Do these interceptors have to be at close range to attack us, or are they still a medium?
Yes, so they're spending their minor action to move closer to you, and then they are attacking with their major action. All right. So I spent threat for an extra die. Okay, there was a good roll. That's what I like to see. Let me check here. So it's not lower than my department for my focus. So that is just 3 successes then. Only needed 1, so that's giving me 2 momentum and 2 versatile. So we're going to spend all 4 of that momentum to increase the damage to 7. So you take another hit. You see the phasers. This interceptor swoops in front of the Intrepid, and it's doing 3 damage after the resistance, dropping you down to 12. It swoops forward, and you just see the phasers on this thing are very small, especially compared to the Intrepid. but the repeated hitting of it, along with the large amounts of damage that you've taken before, means that the shields are struggling to contain it all. Fortunately, you have a very experienced crew handling this, and you're not in any danger yet. That is its turn. That takes us to Danko.
Okay, so Danko is still on his sensor position. He is kind of going through the data. He's like doing like a quick view of like the success of the shot on the first freighter, and he's using that to kind of more fine tune his scans now of the second freighter. And so minor action, I'm doing calibrate sensors. So basically, this basically lets me re-roll a d20 or ignore a single trait affecting the task. Are there any traits affecting my scan for weakness on the other freighter?
I don't think there are. No.
Okay, so then I'm just going to get the re-roll one. There's really no that's just a minor action, so it's just a thing. And then I will go ahead and do the scan for weakness, which is the same thing I did before, except now I'm doing it on the second freighter. So if somebody wants to roll sensors plus security to assist with this, that'd be great.
Sure. Sensors plus security is 12. I've got you a 17 instead.
Okay, no worries.
You were giving Melissa trouble.
I know.
You failed 2 assists.
I am. I'm not going to roll for the ship anymore.
Okay, so I need a control science, and it's going to be a difficulty of 2. So I'm going to go ahead and spend some momentum then to ensure we get this. So my control science is a 13. I'm not the most controlled person. I'm a crazy old man. So I'm going to spend 3 so I can get 2 more dice. So it's going to bring us down to that. All right. So now I'm rolling 4. Well, that's a 1, an 8, a 7. And an 18, which for me is a complication. I'm going to buy it off. So I'm going to give you 2 threat, Stephen, to buy off that complication. Otherwise, it is a, what is it, 3 successes? Yeah, 3 successes. Because focuses don't come into play here, right?
They can. If you've got a focus that applies, absolutely.
I don't think so in this case, no. So yeah, it's still 3 successes, which means it's a success. Plus, I gain us back a momentum. So, we should be up to 2 now. And then with my bonus momentum generated, what I'm specifically scanning for this time, because they're going in to bombard the planet, and so the question I'm going to ask is, is there how best to target their bombardment weapons? You know, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. So as you're scanning for weaknesses, you really don't have to scan the structure as much, which allows you to devote more time to scanning the eccentricities of this. And you see that there is some sort of jury-rigged weapon. It looks like it's designed to fire nadion pulses, which nadion particles are very similar to phasers, but this one's been changed. So it looks like they've changed their main weaponry to do a sort of pulse instead of like the beam that the phaser does. It's going to take them another turn to get into range of the planet where that's useful. But you can see that you would be able to, by targeting their weapons, you can absolutely disable that.
Okay,
Does that kind of answer your question?
No, absolutely, for sure. And so the second question, some of this I'm just doing this for flavor because I need to ask the 2 questions to set up the trait. And so the second question is is it like a slow generating weapon? Like is it something they charge up and then fire?
No. So the only reason it's taking another turn is because it's actually a very close range weapon. They have to basically enter the planet's atmosphere again, before like the range will work. They're trading the accuracy for a much wider target, and that costs a lot in the range.
Okay. So yeah, I will then just do my trait, my like free trait that I get to do, and I would just say like weapons susceptible, something like that, and I will. Basically, I'll half of it'll be me speaking to Dvorggern, but the other half is me using my console to send data over to his console so that he can actually help refine his targeting on their weapons specifically, so he doesn't murder a whole second freighter of people.
Absolutely. All right. Is that your turn then?
That is my turn.
All right. So we've got the second freighter then that will take its action. It takes the full turn. It requires the full turn to get into position. It is still in the southern hemisphere, but essentially it had to maneuver a bit. That's just what the scenario says, is that it takes the first round, the freighters have to move into position. But there is another interceptor, and that also moves towards the Intrepid. I've got some threat here. I'm going to spend 3 threat and try to get the extra die. So I've got 4 dice. Try to capitalize on that lower difficulty while I can. Okay. So that's still only 3 successes, but it's not bad. And one of them is a 2. Let me double check, which is lower than my department, which makes it a 4 successes. All right. That sounds good. I like that. I'm just talking to myself here as I'm reading. So then we're doing the 5. We got 3 additional. So I'm going to bank 1 threat and then spend my versatile. I get 2 bonus momentum along with the 2 other momentum I've got. No, I get to bank 2 threat there. 4 successes, 3, 5.
He's just going to keep saying numbers so that none of us question what he's doing.
Right?
That's what he's doing.
We just
I get 1 threat
know,
and I'm
right?
spending 4 momentum to increase the damage. So I'm doing 4 damage on this. So it goes from 5 to 7. Is that right? No, what am I thinking?
We have no idea. What
No
you're doing.
idea.
We have no clue.
idea.
You're just saying numbers.
Yeah, you just
Yep.
random.
All right.
It's
The
not a lack
5
of
goes
believing
to
you.
the
We
7
just haven't
minus 4
followed.
resistance. I'm doing 3 damage.
3 damage?
Okay.
You
Which
sure?
means our shields are at.
That doesn't
9.
feel right. I'm doing math wrong there, but it's in your favor.
Well, we can walk through. What's the base damage on your weapon?
5.
Okay,
All right,
so your
and
base
it costs
damage is 5.
two momentum to increase.
Okay, and how much
so that
momentum
puts it
did you
up to
generate?
7.
Costs 4 momentum to increase it to 7.
Right. I spent the 4 momentum because I had 5 total to spend.
Mhm.
So I
Okay,
increased
so
my
you
threat
did
by 1.
7 total damage. So you did 7 total damage.
So
our
3.
resistance
Is
cuts it by
4.
4, and so we take 3 damage, and so we are at 9 and not at a breach yet, or not at a the part. So whatever
8
that
is
was
when
called.
we'll get to the first shaken.
Yeah.
All right. So that is all of the ships in Lishka's fleet. That is the 4 interceptors and the 1 freighter that is still up. That is the end of the round. But before we circle around, Donko, you're on sensor, so I think you'd be the first one to see this. There is a pulse of energy that begins emanating from the planet, and your console just starts lighting up with all sorts of data that starts coming in.
Getting
As
strange readings.
a tetryon pulse emits from this planet, very similar to the distress signal that you first brought the Intrepid here, and it actually is just as powerful as that first one. And it's possible that it'll do damage here. So it's going to affect up to 2 ships every turn. So I'm going to roll for this. We've got 6 ships in play here. So I'm going to roll some.
Argent, time to talk to them.
Because we have that space walkie-talkie. So do
Yeah,
we
we
get
do.
like bonus protections here? Because they have a homing beacon to
Look,
be like,
I
oh,
even
that's
got my
the
little
cool guy.
cylinder.
Mhm.
It appears that this is not targeted. It's a pulse that's just being emitted, and it's going to affect up to 2 ships every turn. There are 6 ships in play. I'm going to roll D6s, and if a 6 comes up, it'll be the Intrepid.
Don't
I
have
got a
my
6
tray
and a
roll
2.
this, because all my tray does is roll 6s.
Oh my god.
Look at that, a
Sure,
6.
sure.
I did
that.
I can't. I hold all
Yeah.
these
Oh,
6s.
yeah.
Mm.
Got a
I
6
swear
and
to
a 2.
God. When
He's
are we
like,
getting the dice?
I
board?
really learned how to do the breakthrough stuff, and I really want to have a breakthrough. That's what it's in his notes
All
right
right.
now.
So the 1 would have been in the freighter, so the 2 is an interceptor. And it's causing 8 damage here. So the interceptor, 8 damage. It only has a resistance of 1. So that is burning through the shields and just completely. You can't actually see the pulse. Donko, your sensors are picking it up and you can track it. So you probably see the wave better than anyone. But the view screen has like this broad image of the space in front of you. And there's an interceptor that just flew by and was firing its phasers at you. And as it turned around to attack, it just disintegrates. Just chunks of debris starts flying off. And that same pulse that went through it hits you a few seconds later, and it is causing 8 damage minus your 4 resistance. So it's doing 4 shields here, which brings us down to 5 shields on the Intrepid. And it means that we're getting our first shaken. So for
2.
that, are we getting 2? I thought it was when it gets down
to 5, right?
I think it's
25%,
which would be 4, below 4, I believe.
Yeah, it should be 4, I think. Am I wrong? It is rounded up.
Yeah, 1 is 3/4 of the way along the trap, rounded up. So
it's 3.75 rounded up is 4.
Okay, so it's 4.
If we start at 15,
yeah, it's 4.
A quarter of that is 3.75.
Okay, so we're only getting the one. We're only getting the one.
Okay. So the ship is shaken. We're going to roll a d20 for that. Does someone want to roll it, or do you want to trust me with it?
No, I don't want to trust you with it.
It's supposed to be the highest ranking officer, so it should be Aaron. Yeah.
17.
17. Casualties and minor damage. The ship suffers a complication. So what do we think the complication would be here?
So the Tetrion thing has been, they've been attacking people, not intentionally, like psychically. So maybe it's not just like the damage from the pulse, but maybe the casualties are people whose brain, who are getting kind of that sort of instant effect that we've seen Argent get and Hessel get. And so various people on various stations across the ship kind of collapse over with some kind of weird psychic, residue or something.
Do any of them damage the ship from their actions before collapsing?
We won't say that they do damage to the ship necessarily, because
I thought that was part of it. Okay.
This is on the Intrepid.
Right.
So you would only take the damage when your shields actually go down here?
No, I just thought the flavor text said complication, people die, and there's damage to the ship. So that's what I was just playing it off.
How about we call this impaired crew?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. All right. That is the end of the round. That brings us back to the top of the round. Players again get to go first in any order.
I don't think I went this round.
You were the second one to go because you set up the action.
This was all still the first round?
That's still first round.
Okay. My bad.
I think Argent's the best one to go first because he can give other people stuff to do. We need to get them shields up. So
I need, just FYI, I need to regain power as a major action before I can regenerate shields as a major action. So that's 2 turns.
But you can do 2 major actions in 1 turn if you spend 2
spending momentum. Exactly.
Fair enough. Then I need momentum.
Okay, so I will take the rally action. I inspire and coordinate the crew, attempting a presence plus command task with a difficulty of 0 for the purpose of building momentum.
Real quick, just
Perfect.
Scene setting here. So, did I miss you? So the ship that just went down when the planet released that pulse, was it the ship that was about to attack the planet, or one of the ships that was about to attack us?
It was one of the small fighter ships. The freighter is still there.
Okay.
We're about to F that freighter up, though. Don't worry.
Yep. Presence some command for me is a 17. And I got a 9 and an 11. So that is 2 successes. I think inspiration would be a reasonable focus for this.
Absolutely would. You're rallying the crew.
So that would be 3 successes. That'll take us up to 5 momentum.
I'm sorry, no, that's a horrible focus for this. That won't work at all.
And then, of course, I will invoke decisive leadership to keep the initiative.
I like it.
Give it to whomever, perhaps Dr. Tallis, to rebalance the shields.
Did you take a minor action? Did you want to take a minor action?
I didn't take a minor action. I didn't really see any that made sense.
They're minor. They're not necessarily worth taking every time, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're keeping the initiative. And you said Tallis is next then?
I think it would be wise.
Yeah, I'll do a little bit of work on those shields. Okay, so right now we have did our momentum maxes out at 5, right? So we have 5 momentum.
6. It maxes out at 6, but we have 5 right now.
Okay. Then I will use 2 of the momentum to start off with doing 2 major actions, which obviously is going to start with regain power. And I'm going to do a control plus engineering with difficulty of 1. But I can succeed at a cost. And then this will allow me
invoke the complication that we just had here, that your impaired crew is going to make it a little more difficult.
Okay. Each time it's attempted during a scene. Okay, so I will. So it's a difficulty of 2. I'm going to use 1.
Hey, Raiders! Thank you for that. Sorry to interrupt.
Hey, no, it's
we
fine.
are playing Star Trek Adventures. We are in the middle of our first space combat. And it could go either way.
We might blow up. We might blow up.
Does the ship assist you on this, Talos?
No, the ship does not assist me on this one. This is all me. But I'm going to use one other momentum to have 3 dice instead of 2. And I just need, control for engineering is 15 for me. So I need at least 2 below 15. That is a 3 and 11. I did roll a 19, which is a complication for me because of the earlier events. You can have some threat.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Now, so that is 2 success. So we do have we have reserve power again, which I will then use to activate regenerate shields, which is going to be another control plus engineering. And this time with a difficulty of 2. And this time the ship does assist with a structure plus engineering. If you want to roll that, Derek.
Yeah, I can roll that.
Thank you. And right now we have 2 momentum left.
Mm-hmm. Might as well spend it.
So I will use one of those to. I'll use one of those to roll 3 dice, depending on.
I got a 6. You're good.
Okay, got a 6.
Like 1 success. Yeah.
I might take the risk then with 2 dice because I can pump more momentum into the repairing of shields.
Do you have any determination left? Okay.
No, I used it 2 weeks ago. That's a 4 and a 16. The 16 doesn't matter. The 4 is, so that's 2 successes.
And you have difficulty 2.
Then a difficulty of 2. That brings us to at least 4, and then plus 2 more by spending 1 momentum repeatable. So I will spend those other 2 momentum to gain another 4 for a total of 8. Which brings our shields up to 13.
Heck of a turn. All right, going from 5 to 13 shields. You only have a maximum of 15. So especially Dvorggern, you're seeing this. Argent, you've got the broad specifics of the entire ship as well. But your consoles are all flaring as you see your shields. They're going down, then going back up. You know that every time you're taking a hit, you have Talos there, who is effortlessly typing away at her console, making sure that the power is redirected as needed. What's this look like, Talos?
Yeah, you guys, did I ever tell you the story of my invention of the temporal microviral removal beam? Yeah, and Talos has got her hands in the equipment. And
as soon as you start telling the story, Captain Shelby just starts barking out orders over you to cut you off, almost as if she knew where it was going, and she's like saying, "Now is not the time," without drawing attention to it.
I imagine the light bulbs dimmed too after getting 8 shields back.
Yeah, as the power is redirecting. I really love the combo of those actions too. Argent with you building up the momentum and then like leading directly into her, and she gets to spend the momentum on all the shields. That's awesome. All right. That brings back to my turn then. I've only got 2 interceptors left and a freighter. Both interceptors are buzzing around the Intrepid, circling around, peppering you with phaser blasts. I have some threat now again, so I'm going to spend 3 threat to get 2 extra dice. Hessel has not gone yet, so the difficulty is still 1 to hit here. Okay. That's a 1, a 2, and a 6. So that is actually 5 successes. The other one's a 15. That doesn't do anything. And versatile gives me 2 extra momentum. So 1 success to hit. And then I've got 6 momentum to spend here. How can I spend this momentum best? I think we're just going to do damage. We're going to keep trying to pummel these shields.
Bank it for later. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just want to hold on to it. Just hoard all of it.
So I'm going to spend all 6 of that momentum on increasing the damage. So base damage 5, spending 2 momentum 3 times for an additional 3 is 8, minus your 4 resistance. I'm doing 4 damage. Still not enough to take out what was recovered, but it does hamper your efforts a little bit there, Talus.
These Interceptors' phasers are more powerful than the Intrepid's phasers?
No, the Intrepid's phasers are base damage 9.
Oh, okay.
These phasers are base damage 5.
Okay. Because it's listed as 4 on the... Oh, this is the from first edition.
Oh, okay.
Photon torpedoes is listed as 3, but I think the ship stats are from the first edition.
The weapons should be accurate. I'm pretty sure I got those from the second edition. So they're not?
No, well, the sheet I'm looking at says phasers 4 and torpedoes 3.
I don't know what that is, because when I'm looking at it on the sheet, it says 9, but then when you open it up, it says 4.
Yeah, cool. 9 is better. But that's why I was thrown. I was like,
9 is better.
These ships, these little ping ships have better phasers than us. What the hell?
We'll look it up in between sessions, but we
Aaron,
did 9 when Dvorggern hit the freighter. We did the base damage 9. We did the higher number. So I've not stolen from you in that way. Okay, so that was the one, and it's not gonna spend a minor action. It's still circling around the Intrepid, and then it goes back to the players. We still have an interceptor and a freighter that have not gone. The freighter is in range to start attacking the planet now. So that's something to consider. It could go next, and it could fire.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask about that. Is the freighter still within the medium zone or medium range?
It is still within medium range, yes.
Yeah.
Well, because he said it moved closer to the planet, I wasn't sure if it technically moves zones.
That was more of getting into an attack position, not actually leaving the zone.
Okay. I mean, I might as well, with Danko's new sensor scan that to refine the targeting, I might as well just go for this freighter to target. You said the security system, correct?
Yeah, we're talking weapon systems, basically.
Weapon systems, sorry. Yeah, weapon systems. So
before you go, because I haven't gone yet, so I have to roll a assist. because I'm still.
That's true. The same thing
turn.
that the same reason Steven got the benefit. It should apply here too.
It does.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm rolling.
Jeff's tone implies that I'm gonna argue against it.
Were you not here for the first half of this? This
very
session?
geared up for a lawyer episode.
Steven, the angel halo that is clearly.
I am innocent at all times when I'm the GM.
Unfortunately, I rolled a 17 and I needed to roll under a 16, so I just barely missed. Sorry, there.
Thanks, Melissa. Now I got sassed for no reason.
Okay.
I wouldn't say no reason.
It was deserved.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think what I'm going to do here is minor action. Once again, I'm going to calibrate to get 1 additional damage. Then for my major action, I'm going to fire with the phasers once more. And it's still going to be control security. I'm going to spend a determination to just set one of these dice to a 1 already.
Don't forget, because you're using a trait I specifically created for you to attack, you're going to get to re-roll a d20 again. So that's a thing. That's one of my traits. That's my teacher trait.
Right. Yeah. So I'm basically just going to, and I'm going to try and just re-roll this 1 dice with your re-roll and my re-roll to see if I can get 2 rolls under 4 or less. So I'm just rolling 1 die.
Sounds
that's
good.
An 18, so that's 1 re-roll.
And welcome again, Raiders. More Raiders. Omega TV. Welcome. We're in our
Matt in a Hat. Second
and Matt in a Hat
came in right after the second one, which came in right after the first one. 3.
We are in our Starship Combat, and they're destroying my tiny little fleet of freighters and fighters.
Yes, 1 freighter got 1 shot, and the other one's about to be weaponless. All right, so I failed the first roll, so we're doing 1 re-roll. That's a 4. That's 4 successes total.
Nice.
Raising your arms doesn't stop you from cheating. I don't know what that means.
You know, I guess I'm so used to the in-person stuff that I'm like.
Says Mr.
right, so-
I rolled a 6. Oh, look at that. Oh, geez.
Oh,
this thing
no,
that I
no
wanted to
dice
have
cam
hurt
though.
you.
No dice cam.
Yeah.
We are all so sassy today. What's going on? All right, so how many successes is that?
So it would be 4 successes total.
4 total. So you needed 2 to hit. And then you're doing your base damage of 9. Are you spending that 2 momentum to do anything?
I would recommend spending it to take a second major action and shooting one of the interceptors.
Yes, I like this idea, actually. Yes, if I can do that after the fact, absolutely.
Yeah, you can bank the momentum and you can spend it for another attack. So with the 9 damage...
10 damage, because I calibrated.
Damage. Is it still piercing, Jeff?
It is piercing, yeah.
All right, so it ignores the resistance. Okay, you're not causing it to be destroyed, but you are doing a breakthrough. And are you able to target the system? Is that what you were saying, Dvorggern? You have an ability that lets you specifically target weapons?
I mean, yeah. So my precision targeting flavor text just says, pull it, please.
You get to decide the system, I believe is what that says. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not pulling it up for whatever reason. It must be on a separate window.
How much less damage did he do this time than the last time?
So it was only a couple damage difference. You did 13 this time and you did 10 this time. Or 13 last time and 10 this time.
Yeah, when making an attack against an enemy
12.
vessel, when you make an attack with starship weapons that target a specific ship system, you may re-roll a d20. That's the effect.
Okay. That target a specific ship system. I think that means that the weapon has to... We'll go with it for now. I'll figure that out later. But we can say that you're targeting weapons because Donko already did the scan specifically looking for the weapons. It makes sense.
And he said that at the beginning.
Yeah, and that is part of the fire action. You select your weapon, you choose target, and then you attack.
Choose target probably means the freighter, though, not necessarily the system.
I think it is the system.
It doesn't matter. We're going with it, and we'll look it up in between. So we're going to say that is a breakthrough on the weapon system. It's going to be a breach, not a breakthrough, sorry, on the weapon system. And you were already looking it up. It's not going to be able to fire that Nadion pulse anymore. It still has phasers, but that specially jury-rigged system is not going to be functional. So you have at least protected the planet until they're able to fix that, or until you destroy the freighter entirely. You punched through their shields. Phaser blast, phaser blast, phaser blast. You see a couple of them get absorbed by the shields, and then you had it timed perfectly. That final blast specifically hit the weapon, and it just sheared it right off the ship. You see a minor little explosion and a little bit of debris coming off the ship. You have caused structural damage there where that weapon was, and it no longer exists, essentially. The ship is still flying. It is still intact, but it is severely damaged. Excellent work.
Okay.
All right. And you wanted to do another attack then, right?
Yeah. So, with the 2 momentum that I banked, we'll do a second fire or attack. This time, same thing, phasers, but it's going to be on that last interceptor. Now, does my minor action of calibrating carry over to this, or is this? Do I also get like a second minor?
It's
only one time.
Second major action only.
Okay, so then no buffs. Gotcha. All right.
Does Melissa's assist still work though?
It does. She has not gone.
It's every attack.
We also didn't roll for the
next turn.
ship. Did we roll for the ship on my last attack on the freighter?
No.
Are we supposed to?
I believe the ship is supposed to be.
What are you looking? What do you need from the
so
ship?
many notes in front of me. I mean, it's too late now.
Fire. No, the ship does not help on firing.
Oh, okay. All right, then I did write that down. Okay, sorry.
All right, so make your second attack then. And you're targeting the freighter or the interceptor?
The interceptor. And I already rolled it. Wait.
Okay, so then the question is, each time your ship makes an attack, you may assist on that attack. So if this is a separate attack, then I get to try again.
Absolutely,
and see
get
if
to
I
assist.
can roll better. Okay. Rolled an 8 this time.
Nice.
All right.
So there you go.
Should I re-roll my dice because I had rolled them before?
Go ahead. What were they? The same dice. It's fine.
Okay. Okay, I rolled a 12 and a 15, so I should still be good. Yeah, they both match.
So that's three successes total then, right?
Yes.
You needed 2 to hit, and you're banking 1 momentum. Do you want to spend that momentum on anything? I don't think you can with 1. You need 2 to raise it.
Right.
All right. But the Interceptor is much smaller, and it's got much weaker shields. So you are doing 9 base damage. It's got shields of 4. That means the 5 base damage is going through. You are destroying this fighter. What does this look like as you are at the console and you're tapping along?
I imagine that though Dvorggern is still a rookie, this is one of those moments where in the heat of battle, he's got like the battle juice flowing. And so he's displaying just how much, I guess, he's studied or practiced by multitasking with hitting one chip and then immediately focusing on a much smaller craft that's kind of moving in and out and just peppering us. So his hands are just flying all over the console screen or computer screen. And his brow is furrowed as he's just trying to put into or take what he's practiced and put it into like action.
And you are completely focused on the console in front of you. Other people looking at the viewfinder in front, you see that this Interceptor is flying around and you see phasers begin to fire again to pepper your shields. And then one solid blast from the Intrepid hits that Interceptor spot on, punctures straight through the shields, and the thing explodes in space. When this happens, it is just the freighter left. Its weapon has been disabled, and within moments, there is a white flag being hailed, a surrender, as it's signaling its intent to stand down. Captain Shelby orders to acknowledge, and then there are a few moments where you're waiting tense, wondering whether the ship or the planet itself will respond. But it seems with the aggression stopping in space, the planet no longer sees the need to defend itself in space either. And we're going to end here for the session. This is pretty much the end of the mission, but we will have some wrap up next session. And we'll probably start the next mission next session too, as that goes. Thanks for playing, guys. You have protected this alien life form that you have made first contact with. You have successfully advocated for it legally and militarily. So well done there. Thank you for upholding the ideals of the Federation, as is your first duty as a Starfleet officer. All right. Let's do some shout outs. Aaron, I hear you've got some fun stuff happening soon.
I do. Join us tomorrow on Garblag Games YouTube channel at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where I will be the trail boss for a couple of sessions of Huckleberry. I am going to attempt and fail to live up to Jeff's amazing playthrough on the Lollygaggers, but I'm going to do my best as we work our way through the Wheeling Wallow adventure. We're going to start with some character creation, though, so you get to see that on air, and then we're going to move right into the adventure, so that should be a good time. And then on Thursday, if you want to go into a completely different direction at the same time on Garblag Games YouTube channel, you can find us back in Warhammer 40K universe with some more Imperium Maledictum, the Aposty playthrough that Richard is running. So it should be a lot of fun. We're starting a new mission on Thursday.
Awesome. And thank you for running Huckleberry. I told Aaron this privately earlier today, but now I'm going to say it publicly. I'm super excited to see him run it because his high octane adventure combat, the way he always runs combat, full throttle, is exactly what I want to see in Huckleberry. So I'm excited to see how it blends with the mechanics. And I will, of course, be there in chat cheering you on. If you want to know more about Huckleberry, go to huckleberryrpg.com. The Wheeling Wallow adventure that he mentioned will be for sale eventually, not in the immediate future, but it will be for sale, along with a couple other projects that are coming out for Huckleberry soon. We've got a lot of great stuff in the pipeline, y'all, made by some very talented people, excellent creative team behind it, not including myself, but I get to associate with other cool people, and that's always fun. Yeah, Jeff, what else do we got going on with Lollygaggers?
Yeah, man. So we got a couple games this week. On Thursday, you could see a bunch of people on the screen. Not all of us, but some of us playing through some Arzium, which is a new role-playing game from Red Raven Games. It's kind of like a whimsical fantasy steampunk. It should be our finale of our small little run of it. Friday, speaking of Aaron and GMing, he's going to hop back into the seat here. We're going to be playing through some Dragonbane from Free League. Then Saturday, we've got Call of Cthulhu, where we're playing through Eternal Lies, and the party is drastically split and don't know where each other are. It's pretty fun. And then next Monday, we'll be doing more of our Mythos cyberpunk game, Otherscape. And then we'll be back on Tuesday for more of this. If you want to see other things that we have done in the past, check out our YouTube channel, Adventures in Lollygagging. Just look for it there, and you can see all of the last several years worth of our actual plays, games of all variety in all genres, and you can see lots of good stuff. But that's it. Anything else, Steven?
That's all I got. Are we gonna pass the raids forward?
We are.
Thank
we're going
you
to thank
for the raids.
There you go.
Yeah, we're going to thank Omega Ohm TV and Matt and a Hat and Phoenix Walkie for the raids. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. And we're gonna raid Ticking Time Pub Gaming. They are playing some Pendragon. So follow the raid. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see y'all later. Bye bye.
Live long and prosper.
Bye.
Peace and long life.